And that means on that last damn rep, you're going, and you're giving it as much as you possibly can. You are becoming a muppet, because I promise you. Time for the board a-hole here. Thank you very much for joining me as always. And that's right. We are going back to brass taxes when it comes to fitness advice, because you can talk about supplements and what you should do in the gym and how you should eat all day long. And it's mostly the same stuff, but actually it's your brain and it's your mentality towards the fitness of Palace of Love where you can actually change your dynamic, you can find your progress, you can find your evolution, and all these words that we like to use. You can start your fitness journey. Don't know why I'm walking. I have a table in front of me and we'll get nowhere. So basically what happened was this. I was thinking about doing a video like this anyway, and on my phone as I got here, I went on Fitness Vault, which is a very, very good source for just random fitness news, to be honest with you. And they kind of do lists like I do on the channel. And they had 7 proven habits for more consistent workouts. Do you find it hard to stick to your workout program? You are not alone. Use these proven strategies to develop an unbreakable, that's important, training habit and make missed workouts a thing of the past. So I was like, well, this kind of combines 2 of my favorite things, doing lists and reacting. So let's go through theirs and try and help some people. Let's start off by talking about inconsistent workouts. Now, I don't think this is part of the Magnificent 7, but we'll get there. And they say it may not be your fault, because while some people have no problem exercising consistently, others find stringing more than a couple of workouts together almost impossible. And as they mentioned straight away, if you're not consistent in the gym, you're absolutely screwed. And how many times have we said that? You've got to be on it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You could have a random Thursday off, and on Christmas, you're like, flub you, I'm not doing it anymore. But if you do not have this 365-day mentality, you still can get in shape, but probably not the shape that you want. The first thing they throw out there is that your workout plan requires too much time. Great one to start with. Time is the most valuable commodity, and when time is short, exercise is often the first casualty. Unfortunately, a lot of workouts involve too many exercises, too many sets, often way beyond what you need to produce results. These so-called junk sets, never heard of it called that before, I like it, can make your workout not only less effective, but prohibitively long. There it is. Now, Arnold Schwarzenegger had a good one about this. If you don't find time to work out in the day because you're so busy, get up 30 minutes earlier. Get up 45 minutes earlier. Everybody can do that. And while I understand it's not that easy because you're going to have stresses and other things going on in your life, it is something you can put in your head. But this one is far better, right? Look at me, putting my arms around the phone like I'm going to give it a hug. It's far more important. Don't muck around in the gym. And I don't mean muck around as in you can be on your phone, that's fine, but go in there with a plan and know what you're doing. So what a lot of people still like to do is they just do 5 random sets here, they do 5 random sets here. No. There's no best way to do it. You need to find out what works for you. But the way I like to kind of do it is you do a couple of warm-up sets, maybe 3, but they're quite snappy, they're quite quick. You don't need to recover after a warm-up set because you're not working. And when you get to your working set, I take 3, usually. Sometimes it varies, sometimes I do 2, but I take 3 working sets, and in each one of those sets, I set a rep range, be it 6 to 10 reps, or 8 to 12 reps, or 12 to 15 reps. I get inside that rep range, and I ensure I hit failure. And that means on that last damn rep, you're going, and you're giving it as much as you possibly can. You are becoming a muppet, because I promise you, I never want to say promise you, 99.9% of the time, if you do 5, I'm not going to call them lackluster sets. 5 not as intense sets, and you compare that to 3 super duper intense sets, the 3 duper super intense sets will serve you better, and you've just saved yourself a chunk of time. So if you are really struggling to get other things in the day, look at your workout. If you're getting up there to the 1 hour 45, 2 hour range, it's cool if you're enjoying it, but you do not need to be there. Some people go into a gym, smash a workout out in 1 hour and go away feeling like they've absolutely kicked their own ass. There's ways and means, so put that one in the tick box. Now we kind of get a little bit interesting because we then take everything I said and Fitness Vault goes, your workouts are too intense or complicated. Many training program writers seem to prize themselves on designing workouts that are incredibly intense or extremely complex. I agree with the complex one. Sometimes you look at exercises, man, I swear you've just made that up on a piece of paper. The next line I think is massively important. They forget they're writing plans for average Joes and Janes and not the next Mr. Olympia. Something else also to remember, you are not a pro bodybuilder. And if you are, you definitely ain't watching my channel. Or if you are, appreciate it, you ain't getting nothing from it. So, I mean, their words are better than mine. If you need a sports science degree to follow a training plan, invariably it won't be long until you start skipping workouts. Similarly, if a workout leaves you feeling exhausted and sore for days at a time, you've got a ready-made excuse for giving up. While exercise intensity is necessary, sustainability is even more so. Totally agree with it. Now, I'd probably say this is, well, it would be to someone that's new to the gym, because if you're being inconsistent, you haven't found that pattern yet, so you're not a moderate or a novice lifter. So we will tailor make this for beginners, don't kick your ass too hard to begin with. Yes, you are going to have to kick your ass down the line. I don't want to pull the wool over your eyes here, but start doing something that is enjoyable. Make sure you find that dangling carrot. Make sure you find that thing that makes you want to continue working out, and then you can add everything. You've got to leave yourself with somewhere to go. Like on day one of the exercise, you don't go train biceps, triceps, chest, back, legs, and then do 4 hours of cardio, because if you did that for 6 weeks, A, you're going to exhaust yourself, but B, then what do you do when you hit a plateau? And you always will hit a plateau, right? So you want to add little things. So start off slow, build, understand once again it's a long-ass process, and don't get confused by it. Nobody wants to do... Think about when you get a work project. Darren from accounts comes in and goes, oh, I need you to do this. And you look at it, you're like, Darren, that's... flipping, would you write it in Swahili? If you speak Swahili, it's fine, but you probably don't. Keep things simple in the gym. Pick up the weight and teach yourself to pick up a heavier weight. That's it. Move on to number 5, I believe, and that is your workouts are too inflexible. Yeah. The best workout plans can be fine-tuned so they match the needs of the individual. Everyone who lists has particular needs, absolutely, and wants, and what works for one person may not work for another, which is why you should only take me at face value too, because it could be gibberish within your world. I'm trying to make it good, but it may not be. For example, many strength and bodybuilding training programs revolve around the squat, and while the squat is an excellent exercise, it is not suitable for everyone because of injuries, equipment limitations, or mobility issues. Said it before, should you squat? Yes. Do you have to get good physique? Absolutely not. Very rigid exercise programs all but encourage rebellion because they are strict our way or the highway. So if you get a personal trainer, I would advise you to listen to them and do what they tell you. And if you don't like something, report back to them. And any good PT will ensure that they shake things up. But what I actually think this is more in line in is when, if you're like me, you want to do exactly what you're told to do, right? So if I'm told to do chest press, flies, and a cable crossover, in that order, that's what I want to do with it. But sometimes it's just not realistic. The equipment's going to be used, or it's going to be out of order, and you can't pop in your car and go to another gym. So remember that you can muck around with these things. Like, ultimately, there will be a tried and true method behind all of it. But is it going to matter if you not skimp out, but if you switch things up once? No, it's not. So always be flexible, not just with your training program, but make sure you do it with your diet as well. These are two things that you always have to understand. Life is going to walk in and try to kick its ass, because life doesn't care that you want to get big and jacked. Life just wants to make it miserable. So now I've just realized I've caught up now, and I've read this article once, so more for me. It was a few days ago, to be fair. Now we get into the seven habits, but still, we're going to use those last 3 as like our building blocks, and then we'll get into the 7. And they're all pretty straightforward, but they're good. Number 1, choose activities you enjoy. Now, I hate lunges. I think lunges are the worst thing ever, but I still think you should do them because they're really good leg builders for your legs. Really good builders for your legs. But do them either at the very... It depends how your brain works. Either do them at the very start and then you think, oh, now I get all the good stuff, or do them at the very end as long as you promise to do them. So you've done it the other way. You've given yourself the reward, but now you have to do the work. But when you do start, do everything that you enjoy. Otherwise, you're going to skip it. Of course you will, because you haven't found any kind of a routine. And someone says, do 40 farmers walks. You're like, I ain't no farmer, bro. I ain't got no cows. So at first, be kind to yourself. You know you're allowed to be nice to yourself, right? We're all trying to be happy. So go to the gym, find things that work for you, and just do them for a while, and then add in all the crap. They also have some stereotypes here. For example, resistant machines are better than free weights. No, they're both as good as each other. That's their point. Compound exercises are better than isolation exercises. No, you got to do both. Bodybuilding is better than powerlifting. No, depends what you're training for. High intensity interval training is better than steady pace cardio. No, depends what you want to do. Pilates is better than yoga. No. Running is better than walking. No. Like if you ran for 5 minutes, but you walked for 50 minutes, the walker wins. So again, whatever it is, be it free weights or isolation movements, start with that stuff and know that you have to work everything else in, but just have a party to begin with. And moving on to number 2, I think we've already mentioned this by proxy, set a schedule. Would you ever just walk into a meeting room at work at 8:30 and go, well, where's everyone? Then someone pops their head and goes, what are you doing, Brian? Well, I'm waiting for everyone for the meeting. Well, did you tell anyone? No. Why would it be the same in the gym? Set a schedule for the gym and decide what you're going to do. Monday's back day, Tuesday is chest day, Wednesday's arms day, push-pull legs, whatever the hell it is, I do not care. But you say to yourself, oh, it's Monday, today I'm going to get this work done, then at 3:45, I'm going to the Fitness Palace of Love. And as soon as you plant that seed, you are going to go, and then it becomes a consistent habit. Number 3 is a good one as well, because you undercommit and you over-deliver. It's all too easy to overcommit to training when when you are feeling energetic and enthusiastic. For example, you might plan on hitting the gym for 2 hours per day, 6 days a week, and while such motivation and enthusiasm are to be applauded, it's probably unsustainable. I'd tell you it is unsustainable because I used to do stuff like that. Unfortunately, it won't take too much to derail your ambitious plan, and one missed workout will soon turn into a few. Progress will grind to a halt, and you will become disillusioned, and you may give up. That's right. So at the start of your week, once again, don't say, I'm going to go every single day. Are you going to go every single day? Probably not. So just say, again, I'm talking about people that have just making their debut. Go 3 times a week. It can be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It can be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It can be Monday, Saturday, Sunday. I don't care what it is. Just say you're going to go 3 times a week. And if you can fit a 4th one in there, it means that you've overachieved. And that's the whole point of that one, right? You want to overachieve. And trust me, when you start getting 3 a week, you want to do 4, 5, and probably eventually you'll get up to 6. And then it's just a way of life. Like today is Friday. Am I going to the gym? Yes. Is anything going to stop me? No. An asteroid could hit my house. I go, whoop. I'd flick out the way. Someone doesn't know about space at all. And I'd still go. Because I'm crazy. Moving on to number 4. Love this one. So good. Embrace simplicity. Many fitness experts are guilty of making training more complicated, as we have already talked about, and they have detailed set and rep screens and other things that mean you spend more time thinking about training than actually doing it. And if it is going to be that complex, you turn it into maths, and nobody wants to do maths. This is a nice way to look at it. Remember that humankind has been exercising for centuries, long before exercise science even became a thing. It is true. That's why even way back in the day, you would see absolutely, hench people all over the place. So don't make things too hard for yourself. Keep things simple. Just lift the weight. I've said this before, and you can argue it, but I think it's good if you're just starting out of the gym. If you're going to work your arms, your biceps, you really like bicep curls, and you don't like any other exercise, just do bicep curls for starters. That can be your arm workout. You're still going to see results from it because you've never done anything like this before, and it's so simple. You haven't got to worry about, spider curls or, 45-degree incline curls. I mean, these are all pretty simple stuff once you get to know them, but they can seem intimidating. So we all know what a bicep curl is. Do it. We all know what a bench press is. Do it. We all know what a squat is. Do it.
Okay. Do it. Do it.
Moving on to number 5. Again, we kind of ruined it with the 3 pillars we put in place because we're now doubling up, but that's all right because it is have a plan B. Because your plans are going to get screwed over by life. They are. Like, for example, today I've said I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go to the gym about 6 o'clock. Let's say I can't go at 6 o'clock. Well, then I go at 8:30. Let's say something does truly happen and the asteroid takes me out a little bit and I've got to take a Phoenix down. Then sure, I'm not meant to go on Sunday at the moment, but I'll make sure I find an hour to go on Sunday instead. This is okay. The gym has to be a priority, but it's not the only priority. You understand that, and I understand it, and your Auntie Jean understands that. So, do make it feature on the list, but also understand that much like everything in life, some things are going to go up the list, some things are going to go down the list, like finances or your partner or your family or your emotional health. Like, gym's on that list too. Sometimes it'll be number 1, sometimes it'll be number 7. Number 6, I don't necessarily agree with, but again, it's going to depend on your mentality. Get a training partner. The reason getting a training partner is good is because if you say to someone, oh, hi, Luke, I'll see you at the cinema at 8 p.m. on a Friday, you're probably going to go to the cinema. Even if you decide you don't want to, well, you don't want to let Luke down and you feel like there's some accountability there, so therefore you head to the cinema. Well, it's the same with the gym. If you're meeting Rich on Saturday, 8:30 a.m. and you wake up and I'm so tired, I don't want to text Rich and let him down. It's the same kind of a thing. So I actually like training alone. I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's like my safe space and I can just chill out, put music on, and I let go of all my problems. But if you're struggling to sort of get into a routine, absolutely find somebody else who also wants to start going to the gym. For starters, it's not going to be as intimidating, and some people still do get very intimidated by the gym. It's a very intimidating place, and you can just sort of there's always safety in numbers, right? There's safety in numbers. It's no different with something like this. So yeah, find a pal, find a buddy. If you're like me, eventually you have to be like, I don't want to work out with you anymore. But that's future you's problem. Don't worry about it. And number 7, I like it. This is some advice that you can actually use and actually take on board. Never miss 2 workouts in a row. Because at some point you are going to have to be forced to miss a workout, and it's probably going to irk you a little bit. I kind of find, I know what they're getting at, I don't even need to read it. Because of the habit and the way a habit works, if you miss 2, you are then retraining your body that you don't need to go to the gym anymore. You don't need to do exercise, and all of a sudden you fall out of the routine. It's actually, there is a plus side to this. Like when you're massively injured, like when I blew out my shoulder and I couldn't do anything for 6 weeks, I had surgery and I had to wait for, they even said you can't do cardio. Like you just need to lay down because it was so bad you need to heal. Again, the first week was hell, but then after 2 weeks, I was like, oh, look, I'm just doing it. And your brain adapts. It's like, look, we don't have to go to the gym. We're absolutely fine. And then by the time I could go back to the gym, it kind of felt like a bit of a mountain climb at the same time. So this kind of works when you are healthy, though, Because, yeah, if you miss more than one, all of a sudden that becomes your norm and not going to the gym. So if you do miss one, do not miss two. Simple as that. Even if you go for 25 minutes, anyone can find 25 minutes. At least you went to the gym and you have trained your body and you've trained your mentality. Oh, this is what we do and this is what we're going to do from here on out. I mean, that's pretty much what they're saying as well. So by hook or by crook, if you are forced to miss a workout, make it a singular incident and do everything in your power to hit your scheduled training session. This may mean working out on a rest day, just talked about it, or rejigging the rest of the week's program, just talked about it. Do whatever it takes to get on track pronto. And there you go. And they even have an FAQ that says, how many workouts do I need to do a week? You can figure it out. Trust me. Eventually, you're going to be up in the 5-6 amount of ranges, but it may not be the same for you. You know what you want to achieve. You know what your goals are. You know where your successes lie. You can figure it out, man. I believe in you. Totally. Now, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the bell ding ding so when other videos are going live, there will be a video on the screen. Please do give it a click. Otherwise, grillermind.com/Simon, Simon get 10% off. Love all their supplements, especially their new funnel. Just go check it out. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's true. Also, at Simon316 on Instagram and Twitter. Patreon.com/Simon316 for extra videos and all that kind of jazz. Simon@thebigcartel.com for merchandise. I'm on Cameo. I think that's everything. You think by now I'd have this down, but I don't. That's because I care more about you. Have the best damn workout of your life today. See you soon.